So hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you are new, welcome. Please do stay on this channel because there's a lot that I want to say and I need for you to hear it. So yeah, I really do hope that you guys are good. I'm doing quite well as well. I can't project my voice for some odd reason. Feel like you know. So the one thing that I do want to really speak about in terms of why it's so hard for us to be able to progress in our lives, and not only in a way that we are gaining success and making money, but I would also say in a way of just us growing and maturing up as human beings, for adults to actually be adults and to be mature. And being mature, being an adult does not come with age. It actually comes with being informed and believing the teaching of the Lord. One thing I know is that everything that is spoken by God and everything that is spoken by Jesus Christ is the actual truth, okay? And then everything that is everything else is a lie. So I would like to say that truth is the standard, and the standard stands with Christ, period. The standard of truth is with Jesus, and people really don't want to come to terms with that. They always want to try and debate with you when it really is the truth, guys. It's not even me judging, it's not even me criticizing or discriminating anyone else with whatever their belief is. I was once in other people's shoes as well that had a different belief other than Christ, but I really do want to just share that with you guys, that it really is the truth what Jesus is saying, okay? The first I have on the list is the fact that this is super cliche what I'm about to say, but truly fear is holding you back. But it's not only holding you back in a way where a typical motivation video saying that you need to start, you need to start stop getting in your own way, but truly it is fear that is holding you back. The fear that basically holds you back is because of rejection. So fear and rejection really do work hand in hand. They really are interlinked to each other, because the minute you are rejected by someone or something, most definitely you will be fearful to go ahead and approach again. And I guess from the first point in your life where you were majorly rejected, most of the time that is basically trauma. And through trauma, a demon attached, well, I don't want to call it a demon, but truly it is a demon, because it is basically fighting your demons at the end of the day and facing your demons to be able to progress into the future. So the one thing that people do need to really face is the face of fear and the face of rejection. So as I was saying, maybe that one major traumatic event in your life that actually brought about rejection, or you had something latch onto you, it was the spirit of rejection, and the spirit of rejection then invited the spirit of fear as well. So I don't know, it might happen in your childhood, even in your adulthood. It doesn't really matter when it happens, but when you are rejected, 9 times out of 10 you are going to be full of fear. So yeah, that's how the two are interlinked, and that's why most of the time if you do fear, it's because you fear mainly rejection. Fear of failure is also a thing, but I would like to say that fear in general is always invited by rejection, honestly. I would like to say that people are so afraid of living and feeling and just living their lives in the way that they are supposed to be living their lives. For most of us, we do have or we do know our purpose, but we're so afraid of actually living in our purpose, more so because we are afraid of course what other people are going to say. But I'm going to go deeper into that. The one thing that I did want to talk about is just the day-to-day, honestly, the fact that in our day-to-day life there are no peaks anymore. Well, for me personally, just as an average person, an average human being, I don't have a lot of money. Well, currently I actually have no money, but in general, I'm not really a person that goes out much, just the average human being. I would like to say that I'm not really reaching any peaks or any heights in my life. I'm not having out of the world experiences, and I don't really believe that I need money to be able to experience life in a deeper, more fulfilling way. I don't think that I need financial freedom to access that or to tap into that. I would like to think that my fear of rejection and just my fear in general has stopped me from being able to open up to other people and to be able to experience people as opposed to analyzing them. One thing I do a lot, and what I've actually decided to stop, And what I've repented from as well from the Lord is to be so intrusive. And I didn't actually realize that being analytical is being intrusive. Like, you literally are intruding into my life, but you're not, like, you don't have the guts to actually approach me and ask me. And I think that's what really makes life interesting, if you actually do have the boldness to be able to walk up to other people and to be able to speak, to like introduce yourself and to actually then introduce a conversation to them and engage in conversation with them if they are willing. But I'm pretty sure because you're afraid of rejection already, you can't actually like go to the person and actually just start talking. And for me as an introvert as well, I would be so afraid. The reason why I would always say like I hate small talk is really because I was just afraid of it. Like, I was so afraid of being awkward. And it's not even me being awkward, it's just me never really knowing what to actually say. So I'm like, don't even start. Like, don't you dare mention the weather. Don't ask me nothing. I'm not willing to tell you anything, and I just want to shut up, okay? Now wait, don't say anything to me. So it really is just more so the spirit of rejection that is just heavy on your life, and like from that spirit you also then are fearful because you've been rejected for like your whole life. For me personally, I was raised by very neglectful and rejecting people, so I can definitely say that rejection is really one thing that I fear a lot, and I've just noticed that like I'm unable to actually go deeper into friendship with the friends that I already do have, go deeper in relationship with the sisters and the brothers that I have, because I'm so fearful of like how they are going to react, or whether they are going to reject me if I were to just open up to them, or to also allow them space to be themselves with me as well. It's just kind of like something, especially like in the Black community. One thing about it is like, as a Black person, it is really hard to be affectionate, like it's really hard to be affectionate. It's really hard to tap into that emotion of affection and expression, and like that love and that intimacy. It is really something hard for us. It really is, I won't even lie. So yeah, one thing that I can do is just link this to the Bible as well. In the Bible, Christ does say, he basically mentions that he wants to give us, he has come so he might give us life, and for us to live life and live it more abundantly, something along those lines. And I promise you, I read the Bible every day, but I just, my memory is just, the abundantly parts, the life abundantly is truly what I mean in terms of just my everyday life. I don't need, as I did say, I don't need money to be able to live a good life. The meaning of living life abundantly, it has a lot of like meaning. Like, there's a lot of explanations to that phrase or that verse. And one of the phrases is really, like, when I step out of my door, I am able to see everything as what it actually is. You see people that are awake, and you see people that are still like just completely dormant and just don't really care and are asleep. So the woke people and the sleep people, right? And for the people that are asleep, like, they're not able to really see things for what they are. So like, when I look at my hand now that I am awake, I actually realize that God has trademarked himself on me. Everything that I see in nature always has a Y sign. The trees, the leaves, my hands, my skin, like the imprint on my skin, like anything that is God's creation will always have his trademark on it, which is the Y sign, and obviously his name is Yahweh. So it makes so much sense. And there's also like there was this one video that I watched of like this man going in on how you actually pronounce the word
that the pronouncing of the sacred name was an attempt to imitate and replicate breath, that it was inhalation and exhalation. And then he began to do it into the microphone.
This is also something that's seen in like the codes of the universe, the 0 and the 1. The minute you are in a 0 state is the minute you are relaxed, right? And then when you breathe in, it's almost like you're becoming a 1. And like that really is just like the 0, 1, 0, the hopefully you guys connect the dots. So living abundantly would be to start seeing and living life in color, and to be able to experience people, places in color, and to be able to see them really and truly. I wish I could explain this way better, but yeah, just life abundantly, and yes, to reach peaks in your relationships, to not have stagnant relationships, to not have stagnant friendships either, and I feel like for a lot of us, especially us like in our age, as young adults and as just adults, it is really hard for us to just use our words, and to actually like not necessarily confront anyone, to come boldly to someone. Just like how you come boldly to the throne of God, you are also then able to come boldly to anyone else, because God literally teaches you how to approach everyone else by just being able to state what you feel, to say and to state how you feel, and to use your words and to express, communicate, communicating on a deeper level, to actually be able to access your heart and to be vulnerable, and to allow someone to see you in your vulnerability and to know that it is your power and not a weakness. But this point is interlinked to the next point of just like on your day-to-day, there is also power in the present, and there is power and beauty in the present. So once you are in the present, right, like literally it is in the word, it is a gift, right, in the present, that is where you will be able to actually access a deeper meaning of life and access the life abundantly, or the abundant life that Christ speaks about, right? So I would like to say that to do everything now, to be in the now is to do everything now. And this is also why I also wanted to title this video Why You Can't Start, because you're so trapped in leaving everything for later. Everything about you has been to leave everything for later, to procrastinate. There is like a huge spirit of procrastination. I don't even know what it's called officially, like what its official term is called, but generally procrastination is something that we all know. And I've been procrastinating this channel actually for the longest of times. Like this is literally years in the making, guys. Me actually being in front of this camera is something that I've been dreaming about doing like from years back, okay, and I'm finally doing it now. And yes, as much as God is always on time, but he also is just really making you aware of how grateful you need to be for the now. As much as yes, you do have your goals, you do have things that you want to do in the future, there is beauty still in the now, and like to do things in the now will basically set you up for a better future. But then for me, as a person that is all about emotion and relationships and like coming together, coming closer, being intimate, being heart to heart, see deep, period. So for me, it's just like a thing of truly being able to say the things that I want to say now, mainly to speak now. One thing that I've been very frustrated about in my relationships and my friendships, especially as the person that I am, a person that has escaped all of her life, literally been like just running any and every other way besides in God's direction. I have been stagnant because I've been going sideways. I haven't actually been going forward or upward or whatever. So one thing about it, I just realized that I am still unable to speak to my own sister, the sister that I live with, or I'm still unable to speak to a friend, I'm still unable, just like what I was saying earlier, like it's very hard to reach someone on a deeper level, because you keep on like leaving things for later, and then when you leave these things, like they just become this huge lump of things that you've left for later that you can't even do because like you're too overwhelmed, right? So God being God, thank God to him, like what am I saying? Thank God for God. He was able to just unleash something in my own heart that allowed me to be able to express and allowed me to be able to, even if it was hard, like I just finally used my words. And I feel like for a long time, like I was not raised as a person that is supposed to use her words. Like I was raised to be happy all the time, to not have any other emotion besides happiness, gratefulness, joy, appreciation. But then when I'd be sad, when I'd be angry, when I'd be frustrated, I was alone. I was completely alone. Like I wasn't accepted. I wasn't loved in that moment because I was being anything outside of the image or the appearance or presenting myself as like the good child, the well-behaved child, the good well-behaved child. So yeah, it's just been very like hard. It's been extremely hard, especially in my relationships with people, especially in my friendships. Like my friendships have been very stagnant because one of us, like the reason why we are even friends, right? And like the reason why we were navigating towards each other or gravitating towards each other was really because we were basically one and the same thing. And unfortunately, because we are one and the same thing, it's a good thing, but then it's also like, now I can't talk to you. I can't actually say the things that I want to say because I'm scared. Like I'm scared of like rejection. I'm scared that you're gonna be like, okay, this is new. No. But in the back of your mind that you're not going to be rejected, but it's just that fear. It's just that fear. The very fear that is holding you back is a fear that is in your relationships, in every aspect of your life, your relationships, your own mind, your job, your career, right? That stop sign that's just like, no, you're not going through this way because just stop, and like you're literally looking at it right there, like your future, you're literally looking at your future right there, you're looking at like the possibilities right there, you can see them, you can envision them, you can literally like see yourself living in it, but like you just can't access it because nasa stop sign is in no entry. And one thing about fear is that you will definitely like like once these things have been like released from you, it's great, it's amazing, but one thing about it, you will cringe until uber writes, okay? One thing about me, when I watch these videos, I wouldn't say that I cringe, but like in the moment I'm like cringing so hard, like oh my gosh. This is just kind of like an affirmation and a reassurance that you are still so loved and so wanted by people. Do not allow for the spirit of fear and of rejection to be in your head and to be in your ear, okay? Like one thing about it is like one thing about God is that uyancenga, so as much as, and we reject him a lot, actually we reject him quite a lot, because I remember on my walk alone, I don't even need to mention anyone else, on my walk with Christ, like there have been times, many times, where I've actually turned my back on him and still wancenga. So I feel like umuntu othanda uzokuncenga, period. I don't know how to say this in English though. If someone ncengs you, they love you. Honestly, if someone is always there, like they are never gonna leave you, like someone that is always available for you, someone that is always going to be right there when you need them, even though you have rejected them in the past, is someone that truly does love you, okay? So listening to the spirit of rejection would be a lie. Like the rejection is a lie, because every human being, each and every human being actually does want to have that sense of knowing that someone is always going to be there. Even if I fall on my ass, bro, I know that someone is still there. I know that someone is still there, like watching me, guiding me and leading me, and like always there, always available for me, right? Like this whole culture, there was like literally a culture, like a cancel culture back in the day. I don't really think that people are canceling people as much as they were before, but I would like to say that in your toxicity and your non-toxicity, you are still wanted and you are still loved. As long as God is still alive, he will definitely always touch the hearts of the people that have rejected you in the past, and they will come around, they will come around to actually end up liking you. There have been people actually on my end that I've not liked in the past, but I like now, because in the past, like I was blissfully ignorant. So in my blissful ignorance, I was not aware of what I was doing. I was not aware of who I was at that time, but now I am fully aware of who I am now and who I was back then, because God has removed the scales from my eyes. So it is really important that that even if the person rejects you now, it's not really for you to form like some sort of a grudge against them. Father, forgive them, for they do not know. Like this is how like your approach to life also has to be, to always know that regardless, okay, of whatever you need to do, always do it fearlessly. So I keep on burping, guys. making a video is so hard. You will always be loved, you will always be cared for. You know, as long as people still have hearts that God can touch, you will still be loved and you will still be wanted in this lifetime and the next, because you are given eternal life, especially if you do come to Christ. And one thing about it is, like, the main thing that I wanted to really say is that in your toxicity, you know, and your non-toxicity, regardless of how you are right now, regardless of who you are right now, in the now, you are loved. Okay, so whether you made a mistake yesterday, or you're currently making a mistake, or you're about to make a mistake, you are still like acceptable, you are still lovable, especially in a society that is very status quo, that is very lawful, but they don't even follow their own law. Don't allow to listen to that rejecting law, because that rejecting law will reject them in the end as well. So you really have nothing to worry about, and you have nothing to fear. Even if you are in the face of rejection itself, there is nothing to fear. So even if in the past, you know, you grew up in a very toxic household, or you have a very traumatic past, we all have, like, you know, traumas of our past. We all have different walks of life as well, but I feel like it doesn't matter, okay? It really does not matter. In your now, just know that you are accepted and you are loved, and there's nothing wrong with you, okay? There's nothing that you need to fix about yourself. When you start seeking God, to know his nature is to start changing. You change automatically. He doesn't really need to tell you to change. He doesn't need to tell you to do anything. You just do it automatically, because now that you know what true love is, you are then able to take on the very original image that you've always been, as opposed to the image that you're taking on through your survival of being on this earth, you know. And he really is a person that gives you rest and gives you peace, to actually be able to know that I've always been acceptable, I've always been loved, I've always been cared for, nothing was wrong with me from the very beginning. Yes, I've done mistakes, I've made mistakes, like we all do on a day-to-day, but in our day-to-day, in the now, there's nothing that's wrong with you. You are perfectly fine. The only thing that you need to do is just pray. Just pray, child, and, like, you know, listen to God and just trust him as he takes you further. Anyway, I've made my point. Deuces, guys. I love you guys. Please like and subscribe and comment, and, you know, share if you want to share, and, like, you know, bye.